focusing so much on this thermal, you also want to be looking around for other thermals, other signs of lift. Come on, straightening up into wind, the climb's improving. Perhaps we kind of drifted out of the thermal but without realizing it as well. So I've got up a little bit now. I'm only like a few hundred meters above takeoff. Not really high enough to go cross country yet. So I just need to keep working. Now I can see some other gliders climbing. But as today is quite cloudy and feels like a very gentle, slow day, I'm going to just carry on milking this little thermal rather than rushing off quite yet. Now I can see the gliders around me seem to have all dropped out. So it's like this thermal is fizzling out. So it's probably time to move on. Now looking around, I could look back at takeoff, where you can see Angelique. And ahead there's some gliders climbing a little bit on the slope there. In front of me, out in the valley, there's a nice cloud. I can see Greta under a cloud. The white glider, maybe too small. But underneath her, I see a red glider that's climbing reasonably well. So I've got a choice. Either go out in the valley for the red glider, or I come back to the hill for the blue and purple glider. I think I'm going to glide out. I can also see from the landing field below, Ronald's got a little bit low, but he's got a core and he's climbing up. So I'm going to glide out, because that means it's much better to have gliders climbing up from below, because you can reach above them and you're much more likely, never certain, but much more likely you'll actually get their lift. Whereas if you glide underneath gliders climbing, it's quite possible that you've missed the boat. You're not going to get it. Ronald's climbing very nicely. From being quite low, he's almost at the same height as me. I'm guessing by the time I get to him, he might even be above me. So that's a good climb he's got. So there's Ronald in front with two vultures. And now quite often as you go into the thermal, it can be a bit bumpy. So expect that. Yeah, there's the little surge and the push as we go into the climb. And now I'm joining up. Here's Ronald. And our two friendly vultures. Oh yeah, there's the core, look at that. There's a nice climb. And I've just flown through it, now gone up to 3 meters a second. Whoopee. Yee-hoo! Great. So now we've got to climb 3.4 meters a second, but it's really nice and smooth because the day is humid, I'm guessing. It's really quite humid today. The thermals seem to have much softer edges than they did when we were in Roldanillo and the other days where it was drier. The thermals are really punchy and quite turbulent at times. This is just lovely. This is like flying in England on a good day. So brilliant. So what I'm doing while I'm thermaling, I'm mainly thermaling by feel, to be honest, but I'm also glancing down at my instruments to see my rate of climb. Here's Ronald. Hello. So yeah, I'm looking at my instruments to see my rate of climb on my averager, which is set to 20 seconds. And that gives me an idea of how well I'm climbing, if I'm in the best bit of lift or not. And by adjusting my turn and experimenting a little bit, I can find the best rate of average climb. I'm just getting up to cloud base. So what I'm going to do is just turn out. Can't turn quite as quick with the camera in my hand. So yeah, just gliding out. And often as you go out of the thermal, you get that whoa, like that. You get dropped. You feel your stomach drop a little bit. Very nice. Okay, so we've now got up to base, and now we're ready to go cross country. Let's go. And I've already got the next cloud right in front of me. Hope I can glide to cloudbase. Might glide around this cloud. Right. That's a nice thing you can do sometimes. I mean, don't go in. Always try to avoid going into cloud. Sometimes you can get caught out. But when there's a little fluffy cumulus like this, it's okay to just go around the edge of it. You know your airspace is clear. Here's the view back at launch. I think I'm going to glide back. We're in no hurry to push out yet. So now I'm going to glide back towards launch. And below we can see there's some gliders climbing up. So it looks like this thermal is still working. Ronald's having some fun spiraling down. So now coming underneath them, and again, like I said, not sure I'll actually get the climb to hunt around a little bit. I haven't got birds around me to show me the way. Feels to me like I've missed this boat. The climb's kind of gone through, the cycle's finished. So I need to look for a new climb. Looking around. There's a vulture climbing to my right towards Crispin, and now Crispin's climbing better than me. So yeah, while you're flying around, while I'm flying, I'm always looking at other gliders, trying to see who's doing best. Signs of lift, the birds, cumulus clouds. There's something going around in this area. Can I get it? Am I going to be in time? That's the question. Yeah. Now I'm getting that lovely shove you get from the thermal. That's it. Got a nice gentle climb here. On days like today, where it's a little bit unstable and humid, you have lots of little bubbles coming up, so it's quite, you can have lots of little bubbles and lift all over the place. So it's not, on days that are more stable, you tend to have big gaps between the climbs, and then more concentrated, strong climbs in concentrated areas. Whereas on these like more slightly low pressure, humid, more unstable days, you have lots of little bubbles all over the place. So you can often be thermaling in one place, and then not far away from you there's somebody else thermaling in another little gaggle. Whereas on the high pressure days you'll tend to have one climb for kilometres around quite often. Now, this climb's a bit weak. I'm going to go back. I'm going to head back to the house thermal. If you look at the terrain in front, you can see the road that runs up the spur. The thermals tend to do a similar thing. You've probably heard the theory about dipping the terrain in honey and then turning it upside down. Well, here you can imagine the honey running up that road, and then it pops off on the corners and the high points, the bumps. If there's a place where there's quite a reliable spot, then you get a house thermal like here. Coming back to join up with one of the guys in our group. Hi, Bert. Hi, Spurt. Hello. It's nice having the whole launch to yourself, isn't it? Nobody there. Oh, hang on a minute. What's this? Ah!